I told myself I wasn't going to put on mascara today because this eye is a little red, and I fucking did it anyways. So there's that. Also, I promise I don't drink wine every day. Now that I'm back at work, I like to film on the weekends. Also, my teacher voice is back. Can you hear that little bit of rasp? She's back, friends. Before we jump into this monthly wrap up here for August, if you're new here, my name is Heather, and typically here at Heather's Book Review, as you can see behind me, I like to read and review primarily mysteries and thrillers, but I will read just about anything. But I do have an exciting announcement. So I am actually co-hosting my first live show since high school. Remember how there have been a couple of videos where I was like, if you guys want to see baby Heather, you just gotta scroll back, because I started this channel like 10 or 11 years ago, and then was on a super long hiatus, blah, 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 ended up coming back a couple years ago. Anyways, the two YouTubers I'm going to be doing the live show with, I'm going to link their channels down below. But we are going to be reading The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead, September 25th. It's a Saturday at 11 a.m. CST. Super excited for that. I actually freaking loved In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. I requested that randomly on NetGalley, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, and was given it. And it was so freaking good. I have a full video for it. I'll link it up here. But that's actually, like, that video is how I connected with these two new booktuber friends. So again, I will link those guys down below as well. And yes, I just love meeting bookish friends, whether it's on Booksta or here on BookTube. And we're super excited to chat about The Last Housewife with you guys. So I hope you guys can tune in and follow me on Instagram, because I will post the link and everything for the video there. I seriously can't stop perseverating about my eyes, you guys. First off, can we talk about it's a minute since I've worn foundation too. It's been a minute, but I did it. But no, I've been wearing makeup now that I'm back at work. And I feel like my eyes have been super dry. And before you say it, no, the mascara is new. It's not old and gross. So I don't really know, but I should have just let them breathe today. But anyways, you guys aren't here for my eye issues. You're here for the books. So let's get to it. I read 6 books this month. I think that's actually only happened one other time in 2022. I'm pretty sure. I typically read on average 4 to 5. I don't know why. It just always ends up working that way. But I thought it was funny because I was like, that's weird. The month that I'm super stressed, going back to work, then, just figuring out stuff with our son. I'm like, okay, this month is crazy, but I managed to read the most books in addition to the other 1 month that I did that. But I read some great ones in August. I have my entire stack here, but I'm going to go ahead and start with, I think it's funny. It's also very embarrassing. Okay. So I requested, oh yeah, by the way, this is the first book. I think it's supposed to be a thriller. It's called The Atonement. Okay. Requested the audiobook on NetGalley, not freaking clearly looking at the cover and seeing it's book 3 of a series. And the first book in this, sorry, I misspoke, trilogy. I once had someone come for me on YouTube once, way back in the day, I misspoke and said series, and the person was like, it's a trilogy, you fucking idiot. The first book in the trilogy, I think it's the arrangement with I know the cover is someone holding their ring like this, I don't know, but whatever. Anyways, I've seen that one hyped up here on BookTube. I never read it. My TBR is fucking massive, and I was just okay, I just don't have any gumption to read that. But you guys know I love my audiobooks. Typically, I use my monthly credit from Audible, but gratefully, I've started working with some Audible or some publishers and trying to arrange, getting some audiobooks. So I've recently started that as well, but I always use my Audible membership that I pay for from Amazon. I think it's $14.99 a month for like one Audible credit. I'll link it in the box if you're interested below, but I freaking love audiobooks. I think 3 of the 6 books I read this month are audiobooks. But anyways, guys, I was listening to this book, like, I'm kind of fucking confused. Like, I'm listening to it and I'm like, okay, like, we're just jumping right into it. It's like about this couple that is kind of like after each other, and I don't want to give a whole ton away because obviously I found out it's a trilogy, but I mean, it was pretty good. Like, while I was a little confused, I wasn't that confused enough to like not understand what was going on. And then also, I will preface it with, I guess it's like not prefacing since I'm already talking about it. I will say, I didn't even know that this book was a 3rd book in a trilogy until after I finished it. So that kind of says something in and of itself, right? Like, I clearly was clued in enough to like still enjoy it. Overall, I feel weird rating this because I didn't even read the first 2 books. And to be honest, I don't really plan on it unless you guys are like, what are you doing? Read the arrangement now, you idiot. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think like when I was done reading it, I was like, okay, it's probably like a decent but flawed on my rating scale. But yeah, isn't that funny? I was like so embarrassed. I was like, do I even tell these guys that I like read it? Because I mean, it's like so embarrassing, but I did. Sticking to the audiobook trend, one of my most anticipated reads of the year, The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. I have read and reviewed The Family Upstairs. It was one of my first reviews upon my return to BookTube, and it was good. I ended up giving it a 4 stars. I would say, like, while it is a sequel to The Family Upstairs, I definitely would rate it go get this book now because it's a good sequel. While I didn't necessarily love it as much as The Family Upstairs, and I do plan on filming like an entire dedicated review to it, so I'm not gonna get too much into it in this video, but I liked it a lot. I just felt like, I don't know, there could have been a little bit more, but like, yeah, it was good. It is the book that I chose for my monthly Audible token. And what I really loved and appreciated was it was the same cast of narrators who narrated The Family Upstairs. So I personally like really, really appreciated that. And I really did enjoy listening to it. I just felt like, I don't know, I kind of hoped there would be like a little bit more twists and turns. And there was also a few characters in the book that I didn't really I don't really understand their purpose in the book, and they were like a huge part of the book. So that was a little like annoying for me. Does anyone else ever have like one sip of wine? Like, I've literally had this much wine and like I'm already sweating. Look at this little ponytail. I cut off like a lot of my hair. I tend to do that when it's a new school year. But anyways, okay, on to the next book. Hold on, let me just make sure. Are those all of my audiobooks? Yes, they are. All 4 of the rest of the books that I'm talking about are books that I read. So the next one is The Couple Next Door by Cherie LaPena. This is my 3rd book by her. The first one I think was A Woman in the Window. I never reviewed that one. Then I read and reviewed Not a Happy Family. It's that pink one right there. Read and reviewed that. Link it up here for you. Freaking loved it. I got this for $5 at a book resale shop, and I've seen this everywhere, like literally everywhere. I've always wanted to read it, super late to the game, and unpopular opinion, but like didn't love it. I thought the characters were like super, super, super shitty people. And I also didn't appreciate that we found out like the thrilling part of the book like halfway through. Like, you find out like what's going on. Basically, like this couple's baby is kidnapped like in the first like 3 pages of the book. And then you like find out who did it in the middle of the book, and then the rest of it is just kind of like annoying. So I don't know. I don't recommend this. I think I ended up giving it like a 2 stars. So yeah, I would not get this one. Hate to say it, but it did end up being a chore to finish on the rating scale, guys. I just don't even like really want to talk about it that much anymore because that's how annoyed I was with it. Next book has been sitting on my TBR for so long, and that is The Last Flight by Julie Clark. I loved what is it? The Lies We Tell or The Lies I Tell. It's right back there. It's The Lies I Tell. I recently read that, chose that from Book of the Month. If you're unfamiliar with Book of the Month, it's a book buying subscription where you can choose one hardcover book for $14.99, and then you can choose up to 2 other ones for $10. So I do like to get 3 books typically. I will put my referral link in the description box below for you if you're interested. That way I get a free book as well, which is awesome. But yeah, loved that book. And everyone was like, no, you should have read The Last Flight first. It's so much better. And then I read it and I was like, I'm looking at my ratings now. I rounded it up to 3.5. And yeah, I don't think it was better. I think The Lies I Tell was far superior. This book was actually really sad, in my opinion. It's a duo perspective, these 2 women, and they both kind of want to run away from what is like going on in their lives right now. And I'm just going to leave it at that. You are like hip hopping back and forth between the 2 point of views. And like, I don't know, I just ended up, there wasn't a whole lot of twists, and I just ended up like finishing it and just being like really sad. That being said, is it a bad book? No. It's a decent thriller, but like I gotta keep it real with you guys, and I wouldn't run out to the stores to get it. Remember how I freaking loved People We Meet on Vacation? Love that book. One of the best books that I read this year. This is another romance from Book of the Month. I'm sure some of you already know what it is. It's The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This, again, was an impulse add-on. I chose this as a $10 add-on from Book of the Month. Love it because it retails for like $30 originally, but everybody was talking about this on Bookstagram. They're like, it's so cute, it's super steamy, and I was like, okay. I haven't read a super steamy romance since like A Court of Thorns and Roses. Actually, scratch that. A Court of Mist and Fury. You guys know where I'm going with that. Anyways, picked this up. It was super cute. She's like she's a grad student, and then he's a professor, and they have this like fake kiss. And then it's just their whole like journey together as she continues to go through grad school, and it's so good, and it gets so freaking steamy. Like if you're looking for like a cute romance, it's like also steamy and like binge worthy, I would highly, highly recommend this. Like I loved my journey reading it. It is definitely a go get this book now for me, and I totally, totally understand the hype. Let's raise a glass to the best thriller author there is. I literally don't care what anybody else says because I truthfully think that she's the best. My most anticipated read this year, Daisy Darker by Alice fucking Feeney. She's literally so amazing. This is my most anticipated read of the year. I should say. At this time when this video comes out, I've already posted a entire read with me vlog on this. Like you can read the entire book together with me. It's up here. It's like a 45-minute long video, my longest read with me yet. I broke it up into 5 chunks. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It is a go get this book now for freaking sure. It's so good. Of course, it was my Book of the Month pick for August. And what's so wild and crazy is I was able to call there's like 2 major twists in this book, okay? And I was able to call one of the twists like probably, I mean, the read with me shows like the actual time when, but like about 70 pages in, I was able to call a huge twist of Daisy Darker, but like that didn't like alter my overall views of the book. I was just shocked because the same thing happened with her book, Rock, Paper, Scissors. Oh, it's typically right there, but one of my coworkers is currently borrowing it right now. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, like I just feel so crazy anytime that I'm able to call anything in a Feeney book because she's literally like the master of deception. The synopsis references And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, like the best thriller ever to ever exist. So I love that. It really takes place in this like house on this cliff, and this really dysfunctional family is stuck there together, and like shit just goes down the whole book. And then you do get like some past point of views from our main character, Daisy Darker, as she's like telling you all about her fucked up family. Oh my God, I binge read this. It is so good. I did end up giving it a 4.5 stars, and that's just because I was able to call one of the twists. And if you're new here, I literally mainly only read mysteries and thrillers. So that is like somewhat of a pet peeve for me because I do like to be stumped. I love to try to figure things out, and then like I love when I'm wrong. So whenever I am right with something so big as the twist that I was able to call so early on in this one, it does leave me a little bummed, but doesn't mean I didn't love the book. Like the book is still so good. I just in my heart couldn't give it a full 5 stars because it didn't completely like stump me, if that makes sense. But definitely get your hands on this. It is so good. And that wraps up all of the books that I read in the month of August 2022. I had a really great reading month. I loved so many of these books, as you guys just saw. Please leave in the comments what your favorite book or books were that you read in the month of August. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.